I'm I'm trying to keep track of my son's. Oh, you're going live. Okay, I'll tell after.
Old Welsh dude. Yeah. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Jay. You can find me on social media at Casino Dealer Jay, and you have come across the Talking Craps podcast live stream. My co-host, who is also my replacement hand model for all of my tutorial videos, is
My name's John Holland. I'm an old Welsh dude that I used to deal craps for a long time. I've quite a few funny stories, and I kind of tag along with Jay. And I know maybe I'm here for comic relief sometimes, but yeah, I kind of love. To be honest, I kind of love coming on you once a week. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I know, I love it too. So we are on episode 8. I believe it's episode 8. So hey, that's great. We're doing pretty well. A couple of announcements. First off, I just want to thank everyone. We did break 1,500.
Oh my god,
Do you like that?
that's so cool. Actually, I looked today, and it said like 1550, and I'm like, man, if a casino was opening today, I'd be like, okay, we need to bet 15. 15's lucky. Makes no sense, but I would be gambling on it. You know, some random number.
Yeah, well, hey, we finally broke it. I think that was like our 3-year target actually, because we're trying to just do like, one every day. That would have been great. So like, in the amount of time that we did, I think we did really well. So go Canada. I'm gonna take this off now. That's not my team, so I'm just gonna do this. Just get back to normal. All right, so guys, yeah, we are giving away a gift card. So, and no, it's not from me, and it's not from my son either. We actually have a special sponsor this week. So, and we have a special guest. So, before I introduce her, I just want to let you guys know that you can put your comments in if you have any questions. John and I are here to answer them. We're streaming on 3 different platforms right now. We're streaming on my own Facebook, so hello family. We are streaming on the Casino Dealer J YouTube channel. So if you like the content that you see there, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Thanks everyone for subscribing. And then finally, we are on the Casino Industry Canada channel. Oh my God, I can't believe it said Casino Dealer. People are going to hate me now. Casino Industry Canada. All right, guys, welcome. Thanks for joining. And our special guest today is dun, 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 Loretta.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Jay, I just want to say thanks for putting this together. I think it's pretty cool. I got to see a lot of old names that I haven't seen in years.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining. We really appreciate having you on this week. Yeah, we have some questions for you for sure. And just anybody that wants to say hi, make sure you just say hi in the comments. And yeah, we'll be getting to those questions and everything else along the way. So, all right. So, John, did you want to start or did you want me to start? How did we want to do this today? I was off last week, so I'm like a little out of practice.
Okay, I just want to say just one thing about. Okay, so Loretta and I used to live in the north side, and she used to drive me to work. We kind of carpooled at one point for a lot, and Loretta used to drive me to work at the palace. And one thing I'm not sure anybody knew, at the time Loretta had this minivan, and I've never seen anybody reverse a minivan into a parking stall like Loretta. She was like an expert. It was uncanny. I'd be like, "You're never going to get in there." She's like, "You just watch," and she'd be like, "Poof, poof, poof, poof." She was getting into parking stalls backwards better than I could get in and I had a crappy little car. Forwards, I was like, "How's she doing it?" And she'd be like, "I'll do it." And she was like an expert. I was like, I have no idea how she did it, but literally, she could reverse into a stall better than anyone I've ever seen. Just so that was just one random thought of Loretta. I have another one, but that was the first one. I thought of what we said about Loretta.
Well, I forgot I used to back into those parking spots.
Oh yeah,
I have a car now, so I don't back into anything.
Our first comment by Guess Who. This reminds me, I'm out of wine. Hello, Starkey.
Yeah.
Help you out, Mikey.
Yeah, we should tell Mike to drive to your house, Loretta, because I have a feeling there may be some spare bottles around somewhere.
Oh, well, Loretta, we do have some questions. I know anybody else, this is always like an ask us anything. So, feel free to ask some questions. It's not just unintentional ASMR for you tonight, but we also have a lot of content that we like to bring up for you. So. All right, so the first question that we have here, I believe it's this one, John, right?
Yeah, because I know, because a lot of people have kind of like over the years have worked in casinos and want to transition out. And I thought, well, you've done it you were in casinos for a long time, and then you worked you've been in the advisor role for a long time. So if there was somebody like, not me, but somebody who wanted to do this, what tips would you give them to move into an advisor role?
Befriend an advisor. The job is very difficult to get into. Anyone can write the exam at Alberta Gaming, but you need somebody that'll mentor you and that'll train you and give you work. And if you go in blind and write the test, you can pass the test. You'll give AGLC $100, and then no one's going to mentor you. So you're not going to get your license. So you really need to befriend an advisor I was lucky. I was in the right place at the right time. Roger knew that I wasn't unhappy in my job, and he offered to train me and provide me with work. So it's not the easiest thing to crack. It really isn't. It's actually one of the hardest jobs to get into in gaming.
I've always thought it was a pretty closed community. Like there's only like relatively few advisors.
There's
and
100.
Sorry?
Yeah, there's only 114 Alberta wide, John.
Wow.
114 Alberta wide advisors.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And a lot of them control I wouldn't say control, but a lot of them are involved with they've been doing it for a long time, so they have a lot of the charities as well, right? So unless you have that, like you said, someone to mentor you and connect in, it's a challenging career to move into, right?
It's very cliquey also. So if you step on someone's toes, you're stepping on your work because they'll never give it back to you. So right now I'm actually mentoring somebody. I'm mentoring someone you both know, Sean Leung.
Cool.
He lost his job at Grand Villa Casino, and he just happened to be at the right place at the right time because I'm 18 months away from retiring. So I needed someone to train. So
that's really cool that's really cool that you've actually, it's like you've gone full circle, like from when you went in and you needed somebody to kind of like the right time in the right place, you met somebody who was going to train you, and now Sean Leung, who's a really cool guy. He was a long time ago. I'm sure he still is.
He still is cool guy. He still is. He's still a really nice guy.
He never aged. He looks
the freaking same.
Yeah. When I met him, he was like super nice and he looked super young. And I'm sure if I meet him again after 20 years, he's going to be super nice and look super young. And I'd be like, oh, I want to dislike you, but I can't.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy. He's a great guy, and he's a great. So you need that person that's like a babysitter. You need a baby to be an advisor. You have to be a babysitter. You're babysitting a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing. And you're babysitting the casino to make sure that they tell the people what they have to do. So he's a great fit. He's a great fit. My partner in crime really likes him, and that is huge.
Oh, nice. That's cool. My story with Sean, I think I was games managing the one time, and he was actually there as the general manager. So then we ended up just opening up the casino together. And it was like the easiest open I've ever had, where we just walked on the tables and we just both had our machines and we're just entering in the values. And he's just like 8210, yeah, 8210. And then we're just talking about kids and catching up. It was like the easiest morning I've ever worked.
Those are the best. Those are the best. When I have somebody that, like last night, we had Christy Gabursky. Do you remember Christy?
Oh, Christy. Oh, yeah.
She's
She
great.
was, yes, she was the cashier last night. So yeah, it makes welcome, Mike. It makes life easier, right? Because explaining chips, like explaining hard, right? Like I can tell you a story about a professor of law, a Harvard graduate that taught at McGill University. And she kept asking me what the value of a loonie was. And at first I thought it was a joke. And I thought, okay, she's testing something, my mental abilities here. So I go, it's $1. It's 4 quarters, 10 dimes, 20 nickels, and 100 pennies. 5 minutes later, she looks at me and she said, you haven't told me what the value of this is. I go, it's $1. $1. Goes, no, I'm confused. She goes, this red chip is worth $5. What's this chip? I go, it's not a chip, it's a loonie. For crying out loud, I had to send her home. It was the first time I ever had to send a volunteer home. She was driving me nuts every 5 minutes. What's the value of this? I said, it's a loonie. Like, give me a break. At that point, I thought, I wish I could drink at work. But yeah. So you try to explain chips to someone who could be the smartest person in the world, is dumbfounded. They can't count 2 $5 chips. And you go, well, it's only 5 plus 5. It's 10. And they go, oh yeah. What? How do I add it up again? Oh, you'd never make a dealer. But yeah, so.
Like, since I've left casinos, I volunteered. As soon as they knew, like, I used to work in casinos, they're like, oh, John, we need to volunteer for the casinos. Oh, okay. So I volunteered, like, all through my kids' schools, like, when they needed volunteers, all through their sports things. Even people in work, they're like, oh, John, can you come? And I would always only be a cashier. I said, I won't be anything else. I'll be a cashier. I don't want to, I'm not going to be a chip runner because that stuff is just monotonous and boring. But I'll do the cashier stuff because, I can count the chips and all that. But yeah, it's just, I can understand, like some people, you look at them and go, well, you're really smart when I talk to you. And you look at it and you're like, you're having trouble with these chips and trying to like literally, to us, it's like basic counting, right? And you're like going, oh, what is 5 and 5? And I'm stuck, And they get overwhelmed by the size of the money. Like, be like, oh, it's however much, $3,000. I'm like, oh, that's $3,000. And you see people would be like, oh my God.
I had a cash out once at Yellowhead, very last cash out of the night, $99,000. So I give the cashier the money and I say, just count to 10. I'll be right beside you. I'm going to scoop it all up. Here's $99,000. $3,000 into it. Like, I can see the tears falling. And I go, are you okay? She goes, I can't do this. It's $100,000. I go, just count to 10. You just have to count to 10. I'm right beside you. I've given you the exact amount of money that you need, so it's not difficult. But yeah, I had to say, okay, move on over. I'll count. And at that time, we couldn't use the money counting machine. So it took 10 minutes maybe to count that. But her, if she would have had to count it, the guy would have been there for 40 minutes for sure. Right? And sometimes you got to just shake your head. You can't control who's volunteering. Right? And sometimes I look and I go, oh my God, this is my crew. I can't go pee. I better not drink a glass of water.
Talking about controlling volunteers, I remember one time with the Palace and I was opening the table. This was a long time ago, obviously. And this lady there, she was never so sweet. She said, you're going to need to help me because I'm legally blind. I was it's like, oh, it's great you're volunteering, but if you're legally blind, how she couldn't see and I was like, oh, she was ever so sweet. And it was like the security guard who was whatever his name was, he was big and tall. And I was like, it was her. And she was like, what? And I was telling her what it was. The security guard was no help. I was just like, okay. And in the end, I was like, I'll just do both. And then I'll just pass them back. And oh my God, it was the weirdest thing.
I worked with, one of my groups is like a deaf association. So Grand Villa Casino just opens. It's busy. And their staff room is across the casino floor, up 3 flights of stairs. And every 2 minutes they're calling, Loretta, we're calling chip runners and they're not answering the phone. Right, because they're deaf. right? Like they're deaf. They can read lips, but they're deaf. Okay, well, we need the chip runner. So I would run out the bank, across the floor, up the 3 flights of stairs, get the chip runner, come on down. They'd open up a table. I'd send them back upstairs and they would call again. Loretta, they can't hear the phone. They're not answering the phone. Okay, you guys, you got to phone me here. They're deaf. Well, why do you have deaf people? Because it's the Deaf Association. Right? Like, nothing I can do about that. Right? The volunteers are deaf. I'm really good at signing numbers, though, now.
Really? That's kind of cool. That was a cool learning moment for you.
A couple of people. Oh, hello, Jade.
Hi, Jade.
Jade's been she's been on since episode 1, actually, even before episode 1. She's a
sweetheart.
Yeah, she's amazing. It's fun to work with her.
Yeah.
So lovely to see you. Great advisor. And Loretta. I believe that was Selena. So Selena,
I
hello.
love her.
And Fiona. Fiona.
Oh, Fiona from St. Albert?
Yeah, Fiona Waters.
Yes, she's another great girl.
Awesome. All right. Hey, we got some people on there. Welcome. Thanks for joining the channel. Thanks for joining the live stream tonight. I don't know what time, John, we give away we'll do the challenge because everyone liked it for some reason. So we're gonna. So I don't know why, and it's not gonna be one straight up today.
It was funny because last time when you weren't here, so we were talking to Michelle and Alex, and I said, make sure your mum's on the chat so she can try and win. And he phoned it. He's like, yeah. It was like live. He said, Mum, get on chat. We're gonna do the rap. Okay. It was so funny, and it's funny because I made sure that I knew the answer before, because he showed us. Oh, okay. Because otherwise, I'd be like the last time when it came up, I hadn't even bothered to look at it. I was like, I'm sure Jay knows, and they were like, all these answers come up, like. I have no idea. I haven't bothered to try and beforehand
get it.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
Well, the whole thing with it was that I was supposed to have a video, and then the video was supposed to play, and that's supposed to give you enough time to figure out the payout. But we just took the picture, and it was just like, oh yeah, what is this again? And we're all just like, oh my god, maybe someone should figure this out. So John, you guys you're like, no, I didn't even try. So then I'm just trying to write it down, and I'm like, okay. But anyways, yeah.
That was the first trial run of it, and it was fun. It was funny.
Well, I'm glad that the other ones are starting to work out. So yeah, we have one ready for you guys. We'll do it in 30 minutes? Let's do it in 30 minutes.
Loretta, can I remind you of one story? And I only thought of this today, and literally I hadn't thought of it in forever. Can you remember years ago when there was all that rain? And they kind of shut down. It kind of broke West Edmonton Mall, and all that water was pouring in, and that big huge lampshade above the craps table. It was all filling up with water, and I was like, this is not.
We're all staring at it, thinking this is not good.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you a funnier story about that. When I was leaving, because I was one of the last ones to leave, because I was a pit manager that day, there was a customer with his pants rolled up to his knees, waiting to get into the casino. So he says, Loretta, what time are you guys going to reopen? And I said, well, we're evacuating. We have cops all over the place. We're leaving. We're not reopening tonight. He goes, well, damn, I lost $10,000 yesterday. I need to try to make it up. I said, well, go to another casino, buddy. He goes, no. I want my money back. I said, no, well, we're closed. It doesn't look very good in there.
Because I remember I remember you were the pit manager, and I think you were the smarts to actually grab a flashlight, because everybody kind of eventually escorted out, and then we had the emergency lights, and then they at some point failed, and then we're all still in uniform. We're like, well, how are we going to go upstairs and find it? With you had to kind of escort us with the flashlight to go and okay, I'm going to go in and get the locker.
Yeah.
It was the
Crazy
weirdest
time.
thing.
You know, those things probably a flooding could occur, but the casinos now are more prepared. So when I went to River Cree, they have a separate generator, like a building. So we would just get a little flicker and the generator would kick in and the generator could run the casino for days. Right. So, and now the casinos are getting a little smarter when it comes to that, right? We don't have power failures as often.
I think, I mean, like, I know I worked for, like, you know, the company I work for now. I mean, they call it like the BCP, like the business continuity plan. If something breaks, okay, what are you going to do to be able to continue working? I mean, like I say, the generator or the system go down, whatever you can do. Is there manual things you can do and stuff like that? But to be honest, I don't think anybody expected a storm that was going to like break West Edmonton Mall, right? It's
the storm of the century. I remember Scott Day was the security guard and he says, Loretta, come and take a look at this. And I went out to the front and there was like this river flowing through the mall down the escalators. We had the escalators there. It looked like a waterfall. And I said, oh, this just doesn't look very good. And then we heard the glass crashing because it took down the ice rink.
Yeah, and I remember you could be able to walk over to the side and there was like the you know, Galaxy Land, whatever. I remember seeing the water just like pour down there. I was like, none of this is looking good.
You know, it's hard to explain to someone because if they weren't there, they would say, there is no way. I said, there's water like halfway up my car and I'm in the upper parking lot. So if somebody would have told me that a year before that, I would have said, there is no way. You're in the upper parking lot. The water goes over the edge. There's no way there. Yeah, but it was the storm of the century. Let me tell you, it was interesting. It was fun.
But I still remember people who were adamant they wouldn't leave the slot machines. You know what I mean? Like, no, got my money in here. So I remember they had to go around and take people's names, like, okay, IDs, whatever, and kind of say, okay, this is how much you got in there, and okay, well when we turn it on, you can whatever, we'll cash it out. But yeah, it was just a crazy. Honestly, I spent like 19 years in casinos. That was probably one of the weirdest things I'd ever saw.
We had to evacuate River Cree once because we had a fire in our surveillance room. And it was very difficult. Honest, we would kick them out of one door. They would come in another door. And at that time, we just shut off the slot machines and it spit out your ticket. But people just didn't listen to the alarm. Like the alarm said, fire detected. Please leave. You know, like so we're running around trying to get everyone out. It's like fire detected. So it's not possible. It's detected. So we had to shut the machines down. We had to shut everything down. It's like, okay, like, and then I finally said, lock some of these doors and let's get them all out one door so that they can't come back in. Like, this is ridiculous. But that's a gambler, right? Like, how many stories can we all tell about the gambler who's urinated on the chair because they don't want to get up? Right? Several of those. So it's just that mentality. I'm winning or I'm going to win. Yeah.
Well, it's like, I mean, it's like, you know, when we used to have that break on like Christmas Eve, you know, like it was like we break Christmas Eve and then we'd be closed Christmas Day and Boxing Day would be insanely busy. It was just like, oh my God, they had like one day. Yeah. They had to spend time with their family. I'm like, done with that.
You know what I'm surprised about is that I thought the same thing with COVID. So the casino's going to open and it's going to be so busy because they haven't been able to. Like if you're a table games player, it was 6 months, but it's not at all. Of course, you have your diehards that'll come in because they need to make some money or lose some money or whatever it is. But it is not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. A lot of people are staying home.
I think
wearing the mask.
I think, yeah, there might be a few reasons. I mean, like people are scared about the health, and then, you know, people may have lost their jobs, or I mean, you know, it's not, things are not going so great so far, but and how gambling is, right? I mean, they've made it so weird now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if we've seen so many things where they're putting up like the plastic screens, and it's like we saw somebody on that group that were like, okay, on roulette they can't touch the chips. You know what I mean? They sit there and they buy in, and then somebody places their bets, and then when they cash out, they give them a piece of paper and say, okay, go there with that. It was just, it's just changed gambling, right?
Well, at a poker table, I think only 8 now are at a table, but the plexiglass going around is like, I look at that and I sit down as a dealer yesterday at Argyle to check it out. And I went, oh, I wouldn't want to deal this game right now with all of this plexiglass everywhere. And you're trying to shoot the cards underneath the plexiglass to get to the player. Like, okay, forget it. And you have that one player that's not going to push the cards into the middle, right? They're just going to leave it right there. So now you have your plexiglass. Like, I can't reach that. It's not like I can just get up and reach over anymore. It's you got plexiglass. Yeah, it's different. It's fair.
Sure. Got a few comments here. Oh yeah, early nights aren't possible.
No.
Hi, Sean. I think I talked to you earlier. Yeah, Sean from, I believe you're in Regina. Hopefully everything is going okay down over there. Nice to see you.
Hi, Sean.
And my favorite guest, not that everyone else isn't great. I wonder who that is. I'm assuming it's Mandy.
Is it Mandy?
It is Mandy, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Mandy.
I have this little group of girls that I love to death. I've watched them all grow up and have kids, and we still try to get together a few times a year to have a drink or two. And COVID has really hurt me with this little group of girls. I really miss them.
In all honesty, I remember when Jay said, "Oh, like we started up this casino." He goes, "I've created this casino group, whatever." And in the group, you can kind of have like little groups. Like you can get like a room, whatever, and you can do these video things. And I was like, I'm surprised that more people didn't connect that way. Do you know what I mean? Because like Loretta, you and I haven't seen each other probably, I don't know, a couple of years, like 2 or 3 years, whatever. But before that. Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure there's tons of people who haven't connected in like 5, 6, 7, 10 years, right? 20, maybe a long time, right? So I was like, there was a lot of people who joined that group really quickly, and it was all like, oh my God, it's so cool. And then it's kind of plateaued a bit, like maybe like hit 1,500 people, and there's like, oh, but one of the coolest things I like though, somebody posted jobs in like Lethbridge. I was like, that's a really cool thing, right? I mean, like, if
really cool.
If people start posting jobs, or maybe at some point, like there's advisors like, what, I'm looking to, maybe I want to move out of this. Maybe there's somebody I can share my experiences with for somebody who's new to this, because it's, like you said, it's a completely alien experience, right? Going from like, oh, I worked in casinos like you worked in casinos for a long time, and then go to being like, oh, I'm now an advisor, even though you've got your license. Without a mentor, you'd be kind of like hooped, right?
Yes, and I've had lots of people have approached me that have written the exam. And one of the ladies that approached me, she was not even in the casino industry. So she wrote the exam, she passed the exam, and she sent me a note. And she said, "Will you mentor me?" And I said, "I can't." And I said, "For many reasons." And I said, "First of all, I don't have work to give you. So why am I going to mentor you? So you're going to compete against me for work? That just doesn't work." Now, not only are you going to compete against me, because I get work from lots of advisors. Lots of advisors supply me with my work. So once I train you, they're going to be mad at me, and they're going to say, "No more work for Loretta." Yeah. It is very, very cliquey. It is a difficult, I've never seen anything. Like I said, I was just happened to be at the right place at the right time. Walked nicely right into the back door, just front and center. And funny story about that. So I worked at River Cree as a pit manager / games manager, and I get fired. So not that I care. Everyone knows anyways. I get fired for something. And I didn't care. They look at me and I go, "Don't worry, you'll see me soon." And sure enough, 3 weeks later, I'm sitting in the cash cage as the advisor. Well, you should have seen management's face. They stopped in front of the cash cage and they said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "You can't do anything about it. I work for charity. I'm not working for you." But yeah, I was just at the right place at the right time.
So do you think, like the whole COVID thing and the way things are run right now, do you think at some point, like the age old say, because we'll change how this whole, like the necessity of needing volunteers? Because I'm sure now, people are reluctant to go, right?
The problem is it's a double-edged sword. So the government that cuts out the charities is not going to be elected in. Mm-hmm. We have the highest volunteer per capita in Canada. So charities are going to lose $80,000. $80,000 every 18 months. That goes a long way. But with that being said, the government makes $900 million a year off charitable gaming. If they took control, they would have $1.8 billion. And which other company would take 38 strangers every 2 days and say, come and run my multi-million-dollar industry? I thought COVID was the perfect time to eliminate the advisor. But hey, I'm wrong. We're still here. We're probably still going to be here for a few years. It's always been, since I started in the industry, it's always been a talk. Charities are gone, charities are gone, charities are gone, charities are still here. And I suspect they're going to be here for a while yet.
I think you're right. I don't think it's a politically smart move to say, okay, we're going to, mess up all these charities, but just the need of the like, what if they then all of a sudden the government was like, okay, how about we give you, like, I don't know how much it costs to replace the volunteers, but if it was like, okay, we'll give you 0.25% back of the slot revenue or whatever revenue, now you get paid people who do it. You can still have the advisors, but now all of a sudden the advisor would be acting on behalf of the charity, but they wouldn't be the necessary, you wouldn't get the blind or the deaf volunteers again. Do you know what I mean? Like the people.
There's just lots of things wrong with the system, but the problem is, and everyone knows this in the casino industry, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But the problem is it can be better, but nobody looks at what can make things better. They just say it's working right now, so let's just leave it.
Yeah. Hopefully things will change. But mind you, it's been, I joined 20 years ago and I left, and things haven't changed in 2 decades. So
nothing changes, John. It doesn't. Like sometimes I go in and I go, oh my God, it's been the same way I've been in the industry coming on 25 years now in Edmonton. And I look and I go, wow, they do it the same way as they did it 25 years ago. And there's a more efficient way of doing that. There's a more efficient way to run a casino, but it's working. That's what they say, it's working, but it could work better, right?
Oh,
it
for
could
sure.
work better.
For sure. Good to see you guys all reminiscing. Sorry, I can't talk because I have a problem with my voice. Hi, Richard. Richard Gonzalez. Hello, how are you doing?
Richard Gonzalez. How are you, Richard? I hope you're well.
Guess who that is?
That would be Sammy. Am I right? Oh.
Shane.
Shane Perper.
Is Shane Perper? Like,
oh my God. Okay. Like, I love Shane. He's lucky I was married.
Oh, no. Okay.
I loved working with Shane. He was a fun guy to work with. And that's the other thing that I miss. I miss my casino social life. When I used to go to work, at 7 at night and get off at 2 in the morning. And for those 7 hours, we laughed and we had fun. And then we went for a couple of beers. We wound our day down and I went home and I had a great day. I don't have always a great day with my volunteers. Sometimes my 9-hour shift, because it's 9.5 hours now, feels like 50.
I think, I'm not going to speak for Jay or anyone, but I think that's what all of us miss. when we, I've been out of the industry now for 15 years, and when you look back and you go, oh my God, what was my favorite casino? What do I miss most? It was all the people and all the laughs we had. I never had a job that I laughed as much as I did as I worked in casinos. I mean, like, even when, like, while you're working, or then you take a break in like 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it was, and then you laugh when you break, and then you go back, and then yeah, I mean, some days it'd be like, oh my God, they pay me for this. I mean, admittedly, they wasn't that much, but yeah, it was so much fun for and the people you meet, right? I think that was the big thing about casinos.
And I think it was more the old crew. So when I first started, a year or two after that, there was Marvin and Jay Lee and Shane and Joe Chan and Mahalia and Mandy and Selena and Ryan and Karen and Nathan. And that was a fun group of people. But then Sarnia opened up, and some people left for Sarnia, and the people left for the ships. And the casino, especially at Palace, the dynamics changed, and it wasn't as fun anymore. And I think that made a difference. It wasn't as fun anymore. Right? People left. They went on to bigger, better things, which is a great thing. I think it's a great thing. But yeah, dynamics changed. Work wasn't. And then I went to day shift. Like, day shift wasn't fun. Right? All the young people work the night shift. And not like I'm saying like I even fit in. I'm like 20 years older than you guys, but it was a fun crew to be with.
But there was, I mean, like, when I started in 2000, and Crap started, and it was kind of like so many people who, like, they were a lot younger than I was, came and they started dealing dice, and I was like, man, you deal this game pretty good, really well. You need to go on chips. Just go and enjoy it, have a laugh, just do it for a while, have some fun. Yeah, so I probably caused a lot of this. Oh, maybe, I don't know. But so many went, and it was a great opportunity just to go and see things and see something different. But as soon as Craps came in, it gave them a lot of people, especially like a lot of, like Jay Lee as well, and Mike, and like tons of people, the opportunity to go and do a bit of traveling. And I mean, like, Steph is still out there. I mean, like 20 odd years later, right? I mean, it's, some of them stayed for a long time, some of them stayed for a short time. I mean, I did 6 years over and all, right? But I think it gave us a great opportunity to travel, right? Casinos, and I've always appreciate that from my time working in them.
I wish I was younger, because I would have done the same thing, right? Like, so I look and I think, like, Jay Lee, how lucky was he? He got yourself. How lucky were you guys? You got to see the world on someone else's dime. Like, sure, were you paid $1 million to be on the ships? No, but you didn't deal while you were in port. So you had free time. And I just look at, like, Arlena is still out on the ships, and I look at her pictures and I think, I just could never afford to go to all those places. And she's so lucky she gets to see them all. Right? Just because you're a dealer. So yeah, dealing, do you have opportunities in this world? Most definitely. And the ships is a huge opportunity.
Well, I remember one dealer, and you look at it, I mean, like, I'm from Cardiff, and I ended up in Canada. I mean, there was, I mean, how many dealers have probably started in Cardiff in Edmonton and end up in different parts of the world, right? I mean, like, living in that. I remember there was a girl in, that was in the Palace who now lives in Scotland, and I'm like, is that a right choice?
Yeah.
But anyway, you know what I mean? But it just gives you the opportunity to do so many other things, right? And I always felt we were undervalued, to be honest, by the companies that we worked for, that they didn't see like the true potential of all these like really cool people and the skill set that they had.
But they still don't see that, John. So even nowadays, like, I look sometimes at the casinos, because I get to work at all of them. So I see all of the staff, and I see skill set there that is amazing, but they're not utilized properly, because all that matters at the end of the day is the bottom line. But they can make their bottom line this much bigger if they just use the skill set that's in front of them. But they don't use it.
Must be drinking Fiona. She's a rat. I think that's on my Facebook. So it's someone that I I know. Only my brother. I don't know. Mandy, yes, things changed when people started leaving. Yeah, you know what? I agree with both of you. That's probably one of the reasons why I actually left, just because there was a change like right before I went on the ships. So I, you know, I talked with John, and then I guess the question was like, is this what I want to do for like 5 years? Or is there a way that I can learn more things and just meet more people? And that's kind of what compelled me to go on the ships and the traveling. And, like I was 21. So like, what else am I going to do? Like, am I going to work in the casino for another 5 years and just be a floor supervisor? No, I really wanted to have that adventure, just like a lot of the other people. So, but it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, and that's huge. That's a huge thing. That's a huge adventure.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I think kudos to you guys that took that opportunity. Some loved it and are still out there, and some went out for one little term and came back and said, I'll never do it again. But kudos for you guys for trying, and kudos for you guys for going out and doing something different. The casino is not a bad place to work, Jaylee. It is not really. And you can make a career out of casino. We all know that. It's just not the same anymore. It's always about the bottom line. And AML, anti-money laundering activity, it takes up so much of our time now. It's not the same. We didn't have to answer to anybody back then. I started and I didn't care if our pit was down $90,000 or up $90,000. Who cared? Nobody asked me a question. Now you get a million questions. Who cashed out? What time did they cash out? Well, did you get their ID? You're like, yeah, it's different. It's not as fun. It's not fun.
I was talking about that. I was talking to a friend of, was it like last year? I was talking to a friend of ours who works in a casino in BC, and he was saying that the AML thing there is pretty much killed gaming in like the table games. She said it's just killed it, right? I mean, how many you have to check all the IDs and where the money comes from and all that kind of stuff. It's just crushed it. It's not like, and that's a challenge. I mean, like we all know people who are like laundering money through casinos. I mean, I remember seeing one guy come in with like those, plastic shopping bags filled with smoke. Yeah, playing like $50, and then all of a sudden cash out, and then go to the cash station and take larger bills. I was like, okay, well, we all know what he just did, but it's like, okay, that was an accepted thing, right? I mean, we couldn't prove where that money come from, and he was just
Yeah, well, that definitely doesn't happen anymore, because if you bought in with two plastic shopping bags of $20 bills, when you cashed out at my window, you would get 2 plastic bags of $20 bills. We get a heads up saying, hey, Loretta, you're going to cash out this guy. He bought in $32,000 in $20 bills. And I go, oh, well, I only have like $10,000, and they'll bring me $32,000 in $20 bills. Because that's what you're going to get. So has it changed business? It has changed business a little bit. Because if you're laundering money, you're smarter than that, usually. What we don't see is the big drug dealers anymore. So that's actually what Alberta Gaming really wanted to do, was to take out that aspect from charitable gaming. It kind of sounds pretty sad, right? You're raising money from your school that's coming from, drug trafficking. So has it cut down those? We don't see those people. Has gaming said, that person is not allowed to play anymore? Yes, to several of the big players. They can't play. That doesn't mean they don't send 20 of their friends with $9,000 each, play one hand and cash out.
Right. I think there's always people who are, once they know the rules, figure out a way to kind of like circumvent them, right? I mean, it's just the way people are.
Well, they can circumvent them to a degree, though, John. So a prime example is Jay Lee comes into the casino. He buys in $10,200. So they ask him for ID at the table, and he says, I don't have it with me. He's now got a ban Alberta-wide until he produces ID.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So they really are really diligent with that. And the worst part of this whole thing is, let's say you cashed out $3,000, and then 5 minutes later you came and cashed out $1,500, and I went to the bathroom and you cashed out another $3,000, and I missed that payout. And 2 hours later, you leave the casino, but that $3,000 put you over the $10,000, and I didn't get your ID. I'm personally fined by AGLC.
What? Oh my God, that's crazy.
I'm personally fined by AGLC because I missed a cash out. And the last fine given out to an advisor was $4,800.
Wow. So they're not messing around then.
Yeah, so you don't piss around. So like people say, oh, Loretta, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just writing down every single person who cashes out just in case I miss something. And sometimes I ID a person just for shits and giggles. So I go, can I have your ID? I'm not over 10. I'll just take it anyways. And then I stick it with a little note saying, he might be over 10,000. I might have missed a payout, but just to protect my ass, I've got his ID.
Wow,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never realized
really
they would.
Made me not lose my job.
I never knew they would find the advisors for if they for the AML, and if they go wow, $4,800. That's a big hit, eh?
That's not a little fine. That's a big fine. So are we all, you know what? At the end of the day, John, I don't really care. They're going to find me. They'll only find me once because I'm never coming back to work because I'm human and I make mistakes where none of us are perfect. But when an inspector comes to talk to me, I'm like, oh, did I forget that? I'm sorry. I missed it. You know what? After a while, Asian male with black hair, black glasses, and a black jacket, unless I could find something that distinguishes them, they're all the same to me. So I might write the payout down with a different Asian male. Sorry, right? Like, come and sit down and you track these people and see how well you do. That's what I tell the inspector all the time.
And there was always, I mean, when it's busy, it's so difficult to kind of like trying to find identifiable features about, like, in all honesty, we had like, I can't remember which one, it was like 3 bald people. I was in a meeting the other day with like 3 bald white guys. I'm like, what are you going to do? I mean, we're all on video calls. You couldn't recognize it. It would have been like, oh yeah, bald old white guy. I'm like, okay, well, that didn't say anything different between the 3 of us, right? But
yeah, like, so you have to, the pit bosses are doing the best that they can. The pit managers are doing the best that they can. The games managers are, and we're all trying to work together. And sometimes at the end of the day, I just start laughing because I go, I think he was in over 10. I think he cashed out over 10, but I'm going to put $9,900 just to protect my ass.
Do you know what they used to do? Like when I used to work in this casino in Cardiff, what they used to do is they would look at someone and go, who, like a celebrity, does he look like? So it'd be like, oh, he looks like Jerry Lee, or he looks like, he has 2 thumbs. I remember the one, honest swear to God, I went on a table to go, oh, you got to watch 2 thumbs. I'm like, what? Like, you have to watch 2 thumbs. Sometimes he cheats. I'm like, we all have 2 thumbs. What am I? They're like, no. He has 2 thumbs on his one hand. I was like, what? So they didn't know anybody's names, but they just used to pick up this random stuff. We're like, oh, okay. And then it's stuck in between like, so for the rest of his time there, he was like, oh, I have 2 thumbs. And
2 thumbs.
Yeah. I mean,
you have to have those nicknames. How else are you going to distinguish them, right?
Yeah.
How else are you going to distinguish them? Let me tell you a quick story, Billy, before you do this, about Mike Stark. So Mike Stark is the games manager at Argyle, but he has to work at Yellowhead one day. So I'm the advisor on day 1 at the casino. I come into the casino and the games manager says, Loretta, where's the combination for the safe? I said, well, I don't know. I wasn't here yesterday. She goes, okay, it was Mike Stark. I'll call Mike Stark. So Mike doesn't answer. He had worked till 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. I don't even know what time we're open. And she comes back to me and she goes, well, I can't get a hold of him. And I said, oh, well, I don't know. I don't know the combination. I don't know who was here yesterday. So I finally start texting Mike. I phone him and he rolls out of bed and he says, what? I says, Mike, where's the combination for the safe? And he goes, well, I had it last night. And I go, so what would you have done with it, Mike? He goes, I don't know. He goes, let me check my pockets. And then he comes back to the phone. I go, Mike, you didn't happen to lock it in the safe, did you? He goes, no. And then all of a sudden he goes, oh, Loretta, I locked the combination in the safe. I go, great, because now we can't get into it, Mike. So it took us 3 hours to get a hold of a guy that set the combination, because the general manager sets the combination, because he was en route to Toronto, so he wasn't answering any of our calls. And yeah, the games manager that day, she was really ticked. She goes, oh my God, how stupid can you be? I said, but you never made a mistake. You locked the combination in the safe. Like, that's the safest place for it to be. No one can break in.
Oh man, that's so. But in all honesty, knowing Mike, you'd be like, I can see that happening.
And you know, he's so nonchalant on the phone. Oh, Greta, I think I locked it in the safe. Yeah, no problem. I figured as much. Right? We all do something stupid. And once a general manager, we have to set the safe combination in the morning with the general manager for the 2 days of the event. So I say to him, okay, pick 6 random numbers. Don't have 2 numbers back to back. Don't start off with the 0. Punches in the combination in the safe. Half an hour later, I says, okay, can you write down the combination for the safe? He looks at me and goes, was I supposed to remember that? I go, yeah, kind of. He goes, well, you told me to pick random numbers, so I just punched in random numbers. I don't know what they are. I said, oh, the first time that ever happened to me. I have to call the locksmith to come and reset the lock, the combination of the safe. Yeah. But lesson learned, right? Now on day 2 of the event, I always say to the charity, do you mind if I have the combination? Because they're going to call me first thing in the morning if they can't get into the safe. Like, oh, yeah, here. Yeah, thanks. Always have the combination.
Yeah, no, I'm not pretty shady. At least I didn't lock the combination in the safe ever in my career. So thanks for that story, Loretta. That's
never.
Great. I'll never forget that. I'm gonna have to record this part and just keep replaying it anytime he's on the channel. So
yes. Every time you need to get him.
It's funny how Mike never brought that up. He's been on this call so many times, and not once has he brought that up.
Yeah, I probably slipped his memory.
Oh man, that's funny.
That's good to know. So, guess what time it is? Oh man, this jacket is hot. I've been wearing it for like 40 minutes. I was just trying to do that for the intro, just to show that Canadian pride. Oh, okay, giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. There's 28? No, 20. There's 20 something people altogether, I think. Oh no, or is it just 13? No, I think we're getting there. So I'm gonna give you guys 2 minutes. Call your mom, call your parents. I'm sure you got enough people here, so you have a good shot of winning this. Did you want to say anything, John?
No, because you said earlier, they said, oh, you know, because I kept joking the last week. I said, oh, you know, you're winning this, and literally you're stealing it out of Jay's son's Christmas gifts. He's mortified. Well, you said someone sponsored this time?
Yes. So Heidi from Wildflower Design Edmonton. I'll put the link in after our live stream, but she is actually she's my graphic artist now. So she's the one that's been doing a lot of the so like the branding and whatnot. So she's kind of the person that's going to be doing a lot of the design moving forward. So this Canada, the whole wallpaper here and like the banner itself, this is actually for Casino Industry Canada. So yeah, she does some great work. And if you need anybody in design, then make sure that you contact her. And she does a few other things on the site as well. So it's pretty awesome, guys. I'll give you the link just to see like all of her work. So yeah, so thank you so much, Heidi. Really cool. Next week we're gonna have a special guest on, and I'm gonna be giving out these bad boys here. So if you look at these dice, I got these from one of our other previous guests, from Heather Ferris from VegasAces.com. So next week, this is my set. I bought 2 sets because I wanted to give some. We're celebrating 1,500 people joining the group. I broke 100 for the channel, so these are all ready to go. Got it here. We'll do something fun to give these dice away. But anyways, I think we have enough people here. Guys, just like the last few weeks, the first person on our comments that hits the correct answer wins the $25 gift card. So, last comments. That's why I hate yellow. Okay, Mike. Yeah. These are cool, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it just makes your hands look really small. You're like, oh my God, yeah, it's really small hands. I don't remember those hands being that small. You're like, oh, yes, the dice are huge.
This is how I set my dice. This is how I practice. This is like dice influencing. You start with the big ones and then work your way down.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, let us do this. Let me turn off Mike's comments because nobody wants to hear you anymore.
You muted Mike, that's funny.
All right, guys, good luck. Here we go. After the video, hopefully we can see a winner. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Who's got it? Who's got it? Let's look at the comments. Those dice are amazing. Thank you. 472. That is incorrect.
I think Wyatt jumped on and just spotted out a number before he saw the video. It's kind of like, like on the game show where they just hit it and hopefully they're right.
Yeah. Nice try. 517 is incorrect. I believe that is the winning. That's the winner right there.
That's the winner, yeah.
$4.99.
$4.99.
Yeah, I think it was Selena. Selena was the one who jumped in with $4.99.
Yay,
What?
Selena.
Yeah.
It says Facebook user, so there's a few 4.99s here. I have Mandy at $4.99. So it's just who did it at $8.58. That is the winner. But nice try, everyone else. Peter, hello, welcome. So close, my friend. $4.97, Jade. Nice try. Selena, correct. I'm sorry, like you guys. Sometimes it's just your internet connection, and sometimes you have to upgrade in order to get these things.
Now maybe we can complain to Shaw Cable. Say, you know what? I was going to win, but your shitty internet connection made me lose $25 on an Amazon gift card.
Okay, Wyatt.
Yeah, I think you're up for that.
Okay, so the $4.99 at $8.58 is the winner, and I have to figure out who that was. But anyways, congratulations. I think it's Mandy. I don't see Daryl. Bridesmaid again. All right. Okay, congratulations. Yeah, once we figure out who it is, I think it's Mandy. If it's you, Mandy, congratulations. We'll send that out to you.
Congratulations. Yeah, right on.
All right, cool. That was fun. So next week, yeah, I'm gonna be giving away these dice, and then I think like a $20 gift card, whatever my son has in his drawer. We'll
You
pull
know,
it out. And
I'm going to tell you guys something. I'm going to sponsor a couple of giveaways.
That's so cool.
That's very nice. Thank
I'll
you.
get a hold of you, and I'll sponsor a couple of giveaways.
Yeah, maybe a couple bottles of wine, something that you have hanging there in the back.
I don't know if I can part with those.
No, you're asking too much, Jay. I mean, yeah, man. No, there's only
I have to
so far.
drive like 9 hours to get those.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mandy, woohoo. Woohoo if it's you.
Woohoo, Mandy.
Peter, oh, hello, Peter. What did I have here that I wanted to show? Because I never give enough love. Never enough love to this casino. Oh, I better find it. Anyways. Oh, there it is. Look at this. Look what I have. I have this beautiful, unworn Casino Edmonton t-shirt. I think it's from like one of the staff meetings, but I love that Ferris wheel. And I'll tell you, like, honestly, if I lived in the South Side, this was probably the casino that I was going to work at. Not the casino I was going to end with, but it was the casino that I was going to work at first. But I love you guys there at Argo. Like, I didn't want to leave. I just happened. So, yeah. Shout out to all of you. I miss you guys. You guys are great. The people there still working are amazing. So, yeah, I love that group.
We need to hit them up with some merch then.
What's that?
We need to hit them
That's
up
the
with
one
some
thing
merch.
that.
Sorry, Loretta.
No, go ahead, John.
No, I was just saying we should hit them up for some merchandise to give away.
I know the
That's the one thing
marketing,
I can honestly see. It doesn't matter which. It helps. It doesn't matter which casino I work at. The staff, 99% of the staff are fantastic. Doesn't matter which casino I go to in Edmonton, which is pretty cool actually. Because you go in and you don't know anyone and you think, okay, how fun is this going to be? But they're all pretty good. They're all pretty cool and they're all really reasonable. And I miss working at River Cree. The staff there we were lucky. Mm-hmm. We were lucky. We had the best there when we started.
Hello.
Oh, Anna.
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining on this wonderful Wednesday evening. So, Loretta, I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you, like having you on the channel, I totally appreciate that, you taking the time to join us here today for this episode. Could you kind of give everyone, tell everyone kind of how you broke into the casino, what got you into the industry? Because, I know that you're doing the advisor, but you did so much more before that, and you worked at more than one casino. So, did you want to let everyone know?
Sure. So, one day I was at home and I was hearing, "Mom, can you get me glass water? Mom, can I watch TV? Mom, I need a bath. Mom, can you read me a book?" And I thought, I need to get out of here. I need to find a job where I'm working with adults. I love being a mom, but I need some adult time. And I just happened to be walking at West Edmonton Mall and walked by Palace Casino, and they had a little plaque at the front saying hiring. And I went in and I applied and I got hired. And I went and learned blackjack. And at first I thought, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't even know if I like being in the casino, but it was fun. It was a mindless 7 hours and I worked 2 days a week. Then I learned baccarat and of course prop games because you had to. And at that time it was a rarity to be promoted with only 2 games. And like I said, I always in the casino business was at the right place at the right time. And I applied for a pit boss position as a joke. I just thought it's a great interview to see what I want to know. And I got the job. I got dual rate dealer pit boss. And then it was the same thing all the time. I got full-time pit boss, and then I got the dual rate pit manager, and then Jay, your brother X, went to River Cree, and I talked to him and I said I didn't want to be at Palace. They were going to go on strike. I didn't want to cross the picket line. I just didn't want to be there. It was a bit of a negative environment at the time, and he offered me a position at River Cree, and so I went as a dual rate pit manager, games manager. And the one thing that River Cree did offer me was the insight to see a casino open, to see it being built, and we started it from scratch. Was it a lot of work? I put in 80-hour work weeks every week until probably 3 or 4 weeks after we opened. But I wouldn't have changed anything because that casino gave me such a huge perspective on gaming industry in Alberta, and gave me great friends. Because at that point, I knew who my friends were and who I could rely on. But with that being said, we had great staff. So if I said, I'm short 20 dealers today, the staff that came from Palace were the 20 dealers that always stepped up to the plate. They always were there for me. And in return, I hope I was there for them just as much as they were there for me. And I left the industry on a sad note because, like I said, my employment was terminated and I was leaving my friends behind. And I was a huge advocate of, don't forget where you came from. We all started off as a dealer. And so just because you're a dealer doesn't mean you should be crapped on. You should actually be treated with more respect than as a manager because you're the front line. You're the people dealing with insults from the customers, the insults from your pit boss. You're dealing the front line. And at the end of the day, I have no regrets. I have had a great 25 years in the casino business. I've had lots of laughs, more laughs than I have tears. I have watched people come and go. I have watched people grow and move on or move up the ranks. I have watched people meet their significant other, get married, have children. It's been a fantastic ride for me. No regrets whatsoever. But yes, hearing my kids call mom 100 times a day is what provoked me to go find a job. It was either that or drink.
Well, okay. Or both. Well, okay. So yeah, let's go through some comments before I ask my question for you because but hi Diana, welcome. Let us know what casino you work at actually. Or a casino that you worked at before, or if you're working there now. Let us know how things are going over there. Nice to see you. Hopefully Calgary is okay. We're crazy up here. So back of the house is a mystery to many. Yeah, it is. Anna, come back with it. There's 3 of us. I don't know who you're talking to, but all 3 of us will just come back if you want. There you go, Loretta. You were the amazing leader.
Oh, yeah, I had amazing staff. I can't say anything more than they were amazing. There was like 1% of the staff that sucked, but the 99% that were there with me were amazing. There's always 1% that sucks.
Good attitude, Loretta. Sorry, I never got to work with him. Yeah, I didn't know.
Wyatt left us and I got into the industry. He was there for like maybe a week. Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, you didn't get to work with him. Yeah. All right. So we did. Like I was just talking with Lindsay about this. It's funny because like we were kind of still wrestling about it, and it's been 2015 when I left Argyle as a games manager. It's been 5 years, and we still ask each other if it was the right decision for me to leave the casino as a career. And I can't really answer that right now. Like I have a good job. I work in the hospital. I'm part-time at the casino. it's really difficult to kind of say, like right now, after 5 years, if this was the right decision. But it's a question that a lot of people pose, and it's something that you kind of brought up with me before we went here, Loretta. But I guess my question for you would be, like your honest opinion. You've been talking about this for quite a bit now, but is it the right decision? Like to have the casino as a career. Is this the correct way of doing it?
It's the right decision if it's a job you love. Because at the end of the day, it's just a job. And if you have to go to a job that you hate every day, it is the wrong decision. You need to love to go to work. And so when I look at River Cree, for example, I loved the job when I started. But the last 4 months of my career there, I didn't like going to work. I was already looking for that change. I didn't think I would be an advisor. I thought I was going to get out of the industry, but I was already looking for that change. So if you're happy going to work, then by all means, you've made the right choice. If you're not happy, it is time for a change. If you have a young family, the casino is not the right place to be. If you're working till 4 a.m. and getting up trying to juggle your family life, you're also making a mistake because your kids and your family, you only have them for a short time. Then they grow up and they don't need you anymore and you've missed a whole bunch. So I say to everyone when they say, Loretta, should I apply for this job? And I always say, but you hate the industry now. Being promoted isn't going to make you love the job anymore, right? It's not about promotion. If you were to ask me the sweet spot to be was a floor supervisor. The floor supervisor was the sweet spot to be. Didn't have to get into any trouble. But you have to love your job. And if you don't love your job, then it's time to find a new career. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. Right? Like people left the casino business not because they wanted to. They left it because they hated something about that industry. I used to say it all the time. When I hear bitching and complaining, God, I'm on this rotation again. If you don't want to be here, the door's right there. Open it and fly. Go find your new job because obviously you don't want to be here. Right? And if you don't want to be there, you're miserable. And I'm almost at that point. So that's why I say I have 18 months left if I make it in the industry and I'm done. I'm not renewing my license. I'm not doing it. I know that my time is up.
I think, I agree. I mean, I worked in casinos for like 19 years and I traveled everywhere. And sometimes it was the place you worked, right? I mean, like for me, it'd be like my patience, the older I got, my patience of taking like nonsense was getting shorter and shorter. And I'd be like, you know what? I don't need to put up with this nonsense. I'll just go work somewhere else. And I would literally, at the end, it was terrible, really. But I'd be like, I'm just going to leave now. And they'd be like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm just leaving. I'm walking out the door and I'll go and find another job tomorrow. I don't want to be here anymore. And I would leave. But the challenge is like, when I came to Canada, it was like literally the end of, like you were saying about, okay, having kids. I started having kids and I'm like, I'd rather spend more time at home with my wife and my kids than actually staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning. And like, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So that's when I kind of like, you know what, it's time to leave. And then I left and tried to do something else. But I agree. And then if you go in there and like I had jobs where I would wake up in the morning and they'd be like, I got to work in 8 hours. And my day was ruined. It'd be like, you'd sit there and go, oh my God, I hate work so much. And not only like my time, not even in work, hated my day going up to work. And then I was like, man, like I worked in a casino in London and I was paid stupid money, really good money, but I hated every single shift and every single day. And I was like, man, I need to get out of this. Life's too short to be in that kind of nonsense, right? So I think at some point, if it's awful, you just need to leave, right? But I had a great time for the whole 19 years for the most part.
Yes, and I did too, right? Like I remember once at River Cree, we have this rapper come in and I walk into work and Tom hands me the games manager phone and he says, our CMP gang unit is here, the city gang unit is here, and we have a triage set up. And he left the room and I just burst out into tears thinking, sign up for this shit. what am I dealing with here? I'm not happy. And that night is when it all came about. I was in the count room counting the money, and Roger says, Loretta, what's the matter? I go, I really hate my job. I can't stand it. I'm here putting on a fake smile every single day, and I don't like anything about my job. And he said, oh, well, do you want to be an advisor? And that's how it happened. I was just not happy. I knew that I would never go back to if I went back to the floor, it would be as a dealer. I would not want anything else other than that at that point in time. But yeah, so here I am today as an advisor, and I make a good living, and I have great memories, and I don't regret any of the decisions I made because that's life. And I've worked with the most amazing people, and I can honestly say I've made many friends. I've made many enemies, but I've made many friends, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day, right? But yeah. So have you made the right decision, Jay? It really is on how you feel inside, right? I think
that's hard.
I think
it's a hard question.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard question.
Well, because I can't say yet, and that's the thing. It's really close with what I'm doing now compared to what I was doing before. There's a lot of things to balance out. What I do remember is that my brother, when he was he's working as a manager and this was his career, he didn't get to see his kids grow up, and that was kind of the thing that probably made me look at something else when Colton was just right before he was born, because I didn't want to miss that part of it, and working those hours, and they were extended hours, so would I be home to see my baby? And that was basically what I was kind of running through my head. If I was doing a closing shift and I'm leaving at 5:30 in the morning, it's do I have enough energy for to be a good father, to do everything that I need to do at work and balance it out at home, so that was tough, and it's 5 years. My kid is 5 now. It's a little different, but we still talk about it, and there's no significant answer, because
you still have a lot that you're going to miss, Jay, if you go back to the casino. Here is me. I fly in and out of holidays sometimes because I'm booked in the city, and I don't want to give up. Now I don't give a shit. But before, when I first started off, I would go on holidays for a day or two. I would fly back, work 4 days, and then fly back. Well, I missed 4 days. I missed lots of things with my kids. That's what I say to everyone. If your family is really important to you, and I'm not saying that everyone's importance is different, but if you think that you're going to start missing out on stuff, the casino is not the place to be. Because when you're getting home at 4, and I don't care what anyone says, anyone who says I'm in bed at 4:15 is a liar, because when you get home at 4, you're up for at least 45 minutes winding down your workday. And then you go to bed and you wake up at 7:30 because your kid woke up. You're not a happy camper. And first and foremost, your family is more important than a job in a casino. It doesn't matter what the job is, any job, but a day job, when you work a normal day job, like I look at my husband for forever, he's worked 8 to 4. I think he just has a normal life. I never had a normal life. I was sleeping when people were awake. I was going to work when people were going to sleep, right? Yeah. But if you're unhappy and if you're unsure, I think you made the right decision. You've still got your foot in the door. You're a smart person. You've done all the positions. So can you easily move yourself up 5 years from now? Yes, you can.
I don't know about that. you have a shelf life when it comes to management. But there's a lot of, I wasn't upset about that, and that's kind of the thing. I really did love my job there at Argyle. It was great because I had the freedom and I had the ability to be creative. And that's kind of all you really ask for when you're in a position like that. You weren't being well, I don't want to say it, but you weren't being like super micromanaged. But if you were able to kind of have some sort of influence and kind of push the industry forward, then I think it's a good position to be in. But again, it's just like what is important. Like if I was with somebody that was in the industry as well, it'd be so much easier, right? However, I'm not. I'm with someone that works like morning jobs and like they're working like a Monday to Friday. So I mean, can you really adapt to it? Well, there's some parts there where it would work if the person was working with you rather than someone that has opposite shifts, right? So it's a lot of different things to balance, and a lot of people have different, you have different lifestyles, and that's why it's so tough to kind of answer that question.
Lindsay has never worked in the casino industry, right?
No.
So that was like my husband. So this was no, that was like my husband. So this was all unfamiliar territory to him. Like he just didn't understand it. And yeah, but I love it. I'm a night owl anyways. So for me, and it fit my family well at the time because I only worked 2 days a week when I first started. And so I got to be home all day with my kids and then go to work these couple of days. And as they got older, I just went on to a full-time schedule. But I always tell everyone, you still got to love your job, whatever it is. If you don't love it, then find something else. I told many people you complain every day when you come into work about what your rotation you're on, what break you're on, who's on break with you. It's time to find another job. You're not happy here, right? Casinos easy. The problem is the casino's easy money. So everyone is a little scared to take that one step out the door because, oh, well, you know what? It's easy. Who else gives you a break every 45 minutes and you have cash every second day in your pocket? It's easy to fall back on.
The challenge as well, I find.
I never asked my kids to join the casino world. I told them under no circumstance were they allowed to have a job at a casino.
I think as well, no, I was going to say, I mean, I agree like with everything you say, Loretta. I mean, I think as well, there's a challenge. Like for me, it's like when I left, it's like, oh my God, this was so easy for such a long time, and it was pretty easy money for the amount of work you did. And then the hardest part is to leave and then just go, okay, I'm going to do something. I mean, I had some donkey jobs after I left. I mean, when I worked and did different things, but it was a challenge. But I mean, like I had to get out. At that point, it was like, I'm done. I wanted to spend more time. I wanted to have a normal life, and even working all day shifts. I mean, you're finishing at 7, and by the time you get home, and I'm not going out for supper. It's like 8:30, whatever. By the time you get home, and it's like, I wanted to have a different life. You know what I mean? Like start earlier and finish earlier. Do you know what I mean? So, but I had a great time in casinos, and in all honesty, I don't regret anything. I mean, I did a lot of stupid things, and probably, to Lara, as I said earlier, I mean, I probably annoyed a lot of people, and I probably had a laugh with a lot of people. But I mean, I had a great time. It was, I wouldn't be here in Edmonton today if I didn't do some of the fun stuff I did before. But I do agree that I think the sweet spot really, I think, is if at some point you can treat this, as and do part time. I can take it or leave it, and I work one shift a week or one shift a month, and I come in, I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'm doing it for fun, not as a source of income. It's just like, I kind of enjoy the industry. I'm doing it for fun, rather than if you come in every day and you're like, oh God, I'm on, and you're dreading every minute going, I'm on low limit blackjack and I hate every second.
Yeah.
Find something else to do. If you got to that point where you hate it, just for your whole mental health, just find something else.
Yeah, it's just not worth. It's not worth sometimes the sacrifice that you have to do. So, I told many people, I'm talking to people that I'm getting ready to fire. You're calling sick 3 times a week. Like, obviously, you don't want to be here. So it's now time for you to investigate what your other options are. And like I say to everyone, it's really easy to come back and say, oh well, but I get tips and I get a break every 45 minutes. And yeah, it's easy to fall back. But I work with lots of smart people that I think they could be just so much more. They can just be way up here, but they've settled for here.
Yeah, I agree.
I Okay, so we're getting pretty close to the end here. We usually have a target of like an hour.
I know. Looking at the time.
Yeah, so our target is an hour and 30 minutes. So we got about like 5 minutes left. But and just a couple of comments here. Wyatt says 30 years in gaming, no regrets. It was time to leave. The hours were different. The hours changed. So like I can understand like that whole evolution from like Sundays off to midnight to 2 in the morning to 3 in the morning. Like that, when they changed at 3 in the morning, that just killed me. Like absolutely, it was really tough.
That was a huge difference.
Yeah,
huge difference.
Exactly. So, I'm not sure who said that. Do it because Mickey D. Do it because you love to do it. Yeah, agree. Definitely agree. So, yeah. When it's happy. I missed Toe. Sorry.
Oh, I seen him not too long ago. So suck.
Can I tell a quick story about Toe? So there was one time we were in the pit and it was me, Toe, and I'm going to say a larger person. We were just talking about weight and we're like, oh, I'm sure you're over 300 pounds. And the guy's like, no, I'm not. And Toe's like, yeah, 299.
He's so happy to see me. He gives me this big hug and he's jumping up and down. I love you. Because you gain weight. Or, oh, you lose weight. Oh, you fat. Oh, Toe, I love you. Just call it like it is.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Sunday going to play Craps at River Creek. Cool. Sean coming from Saskatchewan there. So that'll be nice. Good luck to you. I hope you do well.
Good luck, Sean.
Yeah. I think he works at Casino. Well, I don't know if you work there, but Casino Regina. Let us know. I think it's Mandy. One thing I'll forever be thankful for is the ability to work nights and days with Siva, so that one of us was always home with our boys. I mean, yeah, exactly, right? Like that's like the perfect thing about being in a relationship and working in like the casino is that you can manage your hours really well if you're working in the same area.
Mandy was on last break and Sebas was like a quarter after break, and we would switch off so that they could switch off the kids in the parking lot. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
I got to see those kids I got to see Henry all the time.
So awesome. Once you're out, stay out. Yeah, okay. Well, that didn't work for me because I'm still.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
Doesn't work for a lot of people. So, Loretta, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of share with the group, with your fans here watching? Because we still have some viewers here before we log off. But
I just think that at the end of the day, you just got to treat it as a job. You just got to go. You got to do your job. You got to be happy that you're doing your job. You can't be a wallflower. Like, if you want to be promoted, you have to have something that you're looking forward to. Or if you don't agree with something, just don't be a wallflower and say, well, they said that, so I'm going to do it. Because I'm not a wallflower. I've never said I was a wallflower. If I didn't agree with something, you knew I didn't agree with it. And I think that your standards and your integrity depends on you. And if you just are a wallflower and sit back in the ranks, you'll be a dealer for the rest of your life. You'll just never take that step up. And I think sometimes taking that step up is not the right decision to make. The grass always isn't greener on the inside, right? I say that a million times over. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. But make a choice based on your life.
John, any closing remarks there?
No, Loretta, it's been so cool to see you again after we haven't hung out in years, but yeah, and this was really cool. So thanks again for coming on. It's been really fun.
I think we need to get together for a drink.
Oh, for sure. Yes, of course.
Absolutely, guys.
As soon as it's COVID shit is over.
Oh yeah.
Jeez. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. for our show here, John and I totally appreciate it. Loretta, thanks again for joining, and we hope to have you on again at some point. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And you guys, everyone, thank you so much. We're going to close off now, but see us next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. So,
Okay.
guys, have a great evening.
Good, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.